Stay tuned for more from Liverpool's #1 student station. This is LS Radio. LS Radio.
That you've got a business on the side.
Yeah.
And from my knowledge, it started off in second year, actually, as part of your marketing modules. So would you like to talk me through like the process of your company?
Yeah, so I started into gin outside of, it started as part of a module entrepreneurship, and then it was around this time last year, and then after that module I kind of evolved the kind of idea we were talking about on my own from last January. So it's a gin garnish company, so it's called Into Gin, and I do garnishes that go in the gin.
Why that name, by the way?
Well, I just wanted something that spelt out actually what it was.
Okay,
So Into Gin, it's something that goes into gin, but it's also for people that are into gin.
Okay.
So that's kind of
play
was
on words,
the thought behind it.
Okay.
So I started off in January, took £200 from my student loan and said, I'm just going to give this a go, and started making these kits. Got my kitchen registered as a food hygiene premise, all that sort of stuff. Started bagging up these garnishes, and luckily people started to, I got a good response.
What was your
online.
First marketing technique then?
So I literally...
to get your first few orders, because I know how hard it can be for a lot of people to get the first batch of orders.
To be honest, the first couple of orders came quite quickly, and then there's been times where it's further down the line, it's been trying to get them repeat orders. But initially it was very much Facebook, Instagram. The kind of product that it is very kind of photogenic. The target audience I go for are people that are generally maybe our age and that kind of thing. So Instagram is a massive one to connect with that target audience. So I just started posting some pictures, a basic website, and started to build a profile. And then been running for a year in January. So moved into some B2B stuff, some one bar and a couple of gift shops, and just evolving the process at the moment. So obviously it's Christmas, it's my first Christmas, so there's been a lot of interest, very exciting.
Like a new Christmas campaign.
Yeah, very, very exciting. And I've actually been able to bring on a marketing student from the university to manage the social media.
Amazing,
It's been great because not only has it took pressure off me, having to run the social media as well as making all the orders, sending them out, but she also gets experience of working in a small business and what that's like. So it's worked really well, and it's something that I'd definitely be interested in working on again. So
let's give a bit of advice to students who do want to start up their own business, because obviously you started from scratch. Without, I don't think, much knowledge, I guess. Neither. Same here. So when it comes to a website, what do you use?
So I use GoDaddy. It's because it's super simple to build a website on there. I've got no website knowledge, but it's just a drag and drop software. So I think I pay something like £20-30 a month for the software. It's got the whole shop on there. I can change my inventory. So something like that, I know, is from my experience. I've used one-on-one on before.
Yeah, I've used Shopify before. I think that's a good one for students to use if you do want to start your own business, because that's, you can do products and also just services that you want to sell. So your marketing, you know how you said it's all about photos. What apps? I know what app you use, but what sort of tools do you use?
Something that I was introduced to last year by the management school called Canva, which is free, which is really cool. You can do posters on there. You can do more or less anything, and there's loads of templates on there. So anybody who's like not very creative and wants a bit of help in that kind of domain, I'd definitely recommend checking out Canva. And then a lot of other kind of apps I use are just stuff like, have you seen that Sparkle app, and it adds kind of sparkles,
the sparkles on it,
onto
well, I
videos.
guess that's good for gin, actually. You'd want it to be.
So stuff like that. I don't use a whole lot of crazy apps. I just edit the colouring and stuff like that. But Lucy, the intern who's been working over Christmas, she's been great. So she's been dealing with a lot of that, and it really feels now that the brand online is really cohesive, which is what I've wanted to do for a long time, but just haven't had the time to dedicate to taking photos every day
and posting every day.
Every day. So like I said, that's really good. And the thing with a student business is you've got all of these resources around you to be able to bring a student on board. Obviously, we're surrounded by students. There's probably I've had interest from other students who'd be interested in doing something with Intergin in the future. So if you have an idea, there's so many people around, both students and staff that have the expertise to really tap into them resources.
And like you said, it was only £200 that you did take out. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people are hesitant because, you know, they always say, I don't have enough funding to get into that, and obviously you've proven otherwise.
Yeah, I think though, I've said, obviously I live at home, so it is in some ways easier than maybe somebody who has to have a part-time job to pay off their rent. I know that I benefit from that, so I've never taken that for granted. But also the business model that that Intergin like takes is fairly like low cost to initially. So some other businesses, it might be a little bit more high risk. They might need a bit more investment. But the other thing is, if you have an idea, I know for a fact the university give out grants. There's like a form, I can't remember where it is, but you can apply and you can get funding for your business idea. We've just been to a local startup competition for one of our projects. All these opportunities. So just because you don't have the funding yourself, you will never get the opportunities again that you'll get at the university for all this free money. So there's other opportunities that you can take to actually
Where did you start with all the information? Because there's obviously, you started your website, yes, you're a marketing student, so I guess you have a bit of an idea on how branding wise, but there's a lot that goes into it, captions, hashtags, going on Facebook groups. So how did you gather all that information, and where was your best place that you found? Or did you just learn as and when? Yeah,
I think that's the thing, and we've talked about in Enactus before, the minimum viable product. So I literally started with little bags that were just very DIY, and like that did okay. And then just captions as I would caption my own images if I was to put it on, and just working it out. And then the longer you're doing something, obviously now I do proper sachets instead of the little bags, so it looks a bit more professional, better for trade packs as well. In terms of the social media, it's been a similar strategy. So I've been following the community for 11 months now, so you understand how they talk to each other.
Okay, and look, so you understand the language. I think that's important.
Exactly, yeah. So you're picking things up of how they want to be spoken to, looking at good examples of other businesses that do a similar kind of thing, and what works for them, and just working out based on my previous posts what does well, what doesn't. So
analysing the trends, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. It's all a learning curve, and that's... Obviously, my degree has massively helped, and there's been modules that have helped loads. So I've literally just done a module on digital marketing. We had to analyse a community online and their behaviours. So I chose the gin community because obviously not only would it benefit my report for university, but it would also I'd get some insights. I think it's great having your
personal experience on university reports, actually.
So definitely, if you're thinking of starting something up, I'd suggest going for it and fail fast, or it might work. Or if not,
what's your goal for where do you see it in 5 years? Because obviously you are taking the approach of going into the corporate world, doing your marketing job, which I'm very proud of.
I think we were discussing this last night, actually.
A bit tipsy and discussing.
A couple of gins later. If I'm honest, Sandy, it's a difficult one because I'm in this transition phase where, like
I think it is difficult for a lot of people.
Yeah, I've been offered a job in London after the degree, and that will be a more sustainable, the easier option, essentially.
Okay.
Or you're looking at into gin. Gin's a trend. I wanted to cash in on the trend whilst it's going. Is gin still going to be a big thing in 5 years? Is one of the big companies going to have come in and replicated what I do? I'm still waiting for that to happen.
Yeah, that is a worry, I guess.
But I'm continuing to grow my follow base. I'm continuing to explore other avenues. I've spoke about early next year. I'm starting to look at going into bars, countertop displays, doing research into whether that's feasible and whether it's something they'd be interested in right now. So I don't have a set 5-year goal. It depends on the market. I'm not sure if there's still going to be a market there, if there's going to be other opportunities. But
could you see any other potential in other businesses that you'd like to put your foot in?
Any
industries?
There's always things that you think, why didn't I think of that? I do it all the time. Or I always think about, why isn't there this? Just then I was going to the post office, and this time of year when I'm posting gin orders, you're waiting 40 minutes for all the old people to post their Christmas cards. So I'm stood in the queue and I'm thinking, why is there not like vending machines or something where you can buy stamps just whenever you want, or like that's not even a big thing, but I just think of like all the things that...
There is self-service.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Maybe
Somebody's beat the idea, but there's always different things that you think it would be interesting, but I'm happy with what I'm doing at the moment. I'm enjoying it. There's potential other drinks that
obviously,
I could go into. I've looked at rum is a growing trend. If there's anything that could be done with that in the future, cocktail garnish packs, all this sort of stuff. So just keeping going as I'm going, keep pushing it, and just we'll see this time next year where we are.
No, I just think regardless of what you do, it's always been your passion, and you're always gonna. It's your baby. It is your baby.
You probably feel the same.
And you're not gonna let it go that easily, I don't think.
No.
Regardless of what industry you do end up in and what job.
Exactly. When you're close to something, it's got to be right for the business as well. And we've talked about B2B. I'd love to see into gin in supermarkets. I think there's a market for it. When you go and pick up a bottle of gin for a friend,
just pick up a bit.
There's sachets on the side, and they can make their own fancy gin at home. So it's not just a bottle of gin; it's a bottle of gin and something else that you're getting there. But we've talked about supermarkets, and they will want that kind of product for next to nothing. It's whether I'll be able to accommodate that and actually still make a profit,
I guess,
or whether I stay B2C.
You've got to this position now where you've made sustainable revenue from it, and you've built quite a strong brand, so it's just seeing what opportunities arises and how you're going to scale it up even further.
Exactly. And it's an exciting time to be involved in it. It's an exciting time
I think it's great.
To see what happens, and I'm excited for the future. Like I said, it's my first Christmas. It's been great so far. Continuing to keep banging out them Christmas orders.
But you're sat late at night writing all these orders.
Yeah, I'm like a little elf. Little plug there. Get your Christmas orders in.
No, go for it. Get the Christmas orders in. How do you manage uni and actors, Intergin, boyfriend, family?
I get asked that question all the time, and I've said I'm lucky enough. I'm lucky enough to live at home, which I think massively helps because I don't have to have a part-time job. I just live off my loan. So an actress is probably the same time as somebody spends in a part-time job. Yeah. I don't go out a whole load. Like I don't go out clubbing a lot or anything like that. So I probably save time there. I'm just massively organised, and I always have been, and like it might sound big-headed, but that's one thing that I've always said is a good strength. I've always been organised. I manage my time well. I have a planner that's just constantly, I'm just keeping on top of things. And I think some people just like taking on a lot of stuff, and they like to be busy, and that's just what I've always been like. So
how would you, what advice would you give to someone who's trying to be organised but haven't? What's your...
Get a planner.
Get a planner.
Yes, I said this to Maddie, one of the girls in an actress the other day, because she was struggling. Get a planner, write things down. And I always say, take it day by day, because if you look at your whole week or your whole month, it's very overwhelming. So I literally just try and prioritise top 3-5 things that need doing in that day. And I don't even look at tomorrow. I know I've got an essay in tomorrow. I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about, this is what I've got to do today. I know it's going to get done.
Because if you think of the whole grand scheme of things, you're just going to go bonkers because there's so much to do.
So organisation, it's just a learning thing, isn't it? So just get yourself a planner, write down your priorities and take it day by day is what I do.
Yeah.